What's that one?
It was Miami and Middle Tennessee.
Oh, geez, I was talking about Pro Hoop.
And I did watch yeah, I watched some NBA a little bit this afternoon.
Yeah, LeBron James is the best player to ever walk the world.
I didn't see much of that game. I just saw a lot of people fight it was like either LeBron James side or Kevin Durant side. Everybody was fighting with each other.
He's been in the league for 15 years.
Yeah, so he's 100. Yeah, it's because he came in at like 16.
Yeah, I know. How much do you think he can drink in one night?
That's when I came in. Somebody, not very much.
You don't think so?
He just drinks wine like a little bitch. I don't really. I like changed from liking LeBron James to hating LeBron James.
I disagree with you. I think you're wrong. You drink your spotted cow. It's Christmas. Let's get loaded.
You know Dasher and Dancer, Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid, and Donner and Blitzen.
DMX.
But do you recall, was that the most famous reindeer of all? Come on! Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer.
Welcome to the Loaded Box Podcast. Not as good on the fade out there.
Where we never finish first because we finish last.
Thank you once again for tuning in to the Loaded Box Podcast. This is the Week 16 Instant Reactions episode, and it is Christmas, so you all are welcome for this present.
Yes, this is like a Christmas miracle right here.
It is, because I feel like Santa, because it sounds like DJ is on my lap almost. We got him out of the bathroom, folks.
We got some fucking headphones, bitch.
You sounded like Jesse from Breaking Bad there.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
You sound like a whole different person right now. How does it feel?
It feels great. I've been, preparing for this day. We got this noise change coming. We got a website coming. We got some good things in the works.
Yeah, so all of you that are used to hearing us probably on loud, you can probably turn your volume down a little bit now. So
yeah,
you're welcome. I would say Christmas came early, but Christmas came on Christmas. So
we're all the way turned up.
All that way. Well, let's bust into it. There's a game that just finished. Did you watch a little Steelers and Texans?
I did. I watched almost all of the game there. It was mostly just Steelers. Pretty much the whole game.
It was basically watching the Steelers.
Yeah.
My instant reaction here was, don't let DeAndre Hopkins turn into AJ Green. And I don't mean this as like a talent-wise. Nothing about talent. A little bit about talent, actually. I lied. I mean, let's not waste another great wide receiver in the NFL. Let's not waste his years. We see AJ Green go to the playoffs for like 5 straight years, never win a single game because of lack of quarterback. This is on Deshaun Watson. I need him to come back strong. I do not want to waste DeAndre Hopkins. This dude is a great talent. I don't want to call him a generational talent. There's a lot of really good receivers, but the dude is a monster. Did you see his hands? The guy's an alien.
I mean, lots of these really good wide receivers have huge hands as well, so I mean that helps them with their catch rate, their ability to make those plays. Odell has some monster hands as well, so I think you'll see that as a common theme.
Yeah,
like alien fingers.
I just don't want to see this guy get wasted because I love DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh, I'd love to see him get wasted.
We could get wasted with DeAndre Hopkins. That would be a Christmas miracle.
For sure.
Well, let's go from a unique and exciting player. Let me step back here. This is instant reactions. We're doing 1-syllable takeaways from Week 16. Also, your fantasy football championship. So we're going to be talking about some players who either made it happen for you, really stuffed your stocking with some cash, or they pooped in your stocking.
Yeah.
So there's probably some players that pooped in your stocking in the Ravens-Colts game, or that game was just poop.
I hope you didn't have anybody if you're in the championship from this game.
Probably not. Ravens 23, Colts 16. Let me do mine first here because I think it's going to bleed into yours pretty well here.
Yeah.
So my single-syllable instant reaction is point differential. So my question to you, I was looking at it. Baltimore has a plus 96 point differential, which is pretty good. Does that lead you to think that they aren't really an automatic opening round out in the playoffs if they end up making it? Because for comparison's sake, the Steelers are just plus 66, the Chiefs are plus 73, and the Chargers, who are still kind of fighting, are plus 63. So they have a better plus-minus than all of those teams.
Yeah, I know. I think it's been luck of the draw for the Baltimore Ravens. That's just it. I mean, you watch them and you're not excited. The AFC isn't very good in general, so they're lucky where they are. They get to play the Browns twice. They got to play the Packers without Aaron Rodgers.
They shut out the Packers and the Dolphins.
Yeah, so
Like
they got
63
and they
to
got Jay
0.
Cutler, so no big deal. I don't think that's anything to be too excited about.
All right. Well, does that sum up your takeaway?
Yeah, I gotta give my single syllable though. It's boring. These may be the two of the most boring teams in football in this game. Like Baltimore has, as you were just saying, I think Baltimore has zero chance of winning its wild card playoff game. Every time I watch them, they're unexciting. There's nothing exciting. Like there's nothing that gets me up. That's why, like, I wish the NFL was more like the NFC right now, because the AFC is just killing me. Like just
totally eliminate the AFC.
That game, what?
Just totally eliminate the AFC and let the
Just
NFC.
right, like it just sums up the AFC that those matchups right now. I don't even think, honestly, I think New England's good, but I think they'd be, I don't know, fourth best team in the NFC right now.
That's aggressive. Maybe if Wentz was still in there.
I think if they were in the NFC, they'd have more losses.
Well, I can guarantee you that because they wouldn't play the Dolphins, Bills, and Jets twice. So that would be helpful. Let's do.
I think they'd struggle more unless they keep cheating. But whatever. We'll get to that.
That's tough to argue with. Let's move on to the other early game. It was Vikings 16, Packers 0. You want to talk about a boring game? You have it there.
Yep.
What do you have for your instant reaction?
All right, this is going to be my longest segment right here.
Oh, geez.
New regime. This is a new regime. All right, obviously I'm talking about the Green Bay Packers. I mean, did you see Ted Thompson's stupid fucking face?
Dude, I think he was froze. Was he stuck?
Have you seen the video?
Oh, I watched it live.
Yeah. So as I was watching that, I was thinking I was like literally in my head, I'm like, I should take a video of this. I'm like with family. And I'm like, I should take a video of this because this is fucking going to go viral for sure. Like this guy looked like an idiot and it just like lasted a minute. Just that dumb, stupid ass face for a minute straight.
I thought he'd snap out of it. He never did.
No, that's what he does all the time though. It's time
stuck.
to get Thompson. It's time to get Capers out of here for sure. And I would argue that it's even time for McCarthy to go. I've realized through Twitter how much the rest of the NFL fans are realizing how inept Mike McCarthy is. I've been saying this every time, even when Rodgers was playing, when they struggled at the end of the 2 years ago and at the beginning of last year, like the offense he was running was just the same thing that he's always ran, and it was getting so annoying. It's like he's unimaginative. Like it doesn't matter who is coaching Aaron Rodgers, he's going to take you to the playoffs. So you might as well bring in someone more imaginative and a GM that'll make moves in free agency. Give yourself a chance to win a Super Bowl, because until then, they're just going to keep getting to NFC championships and losing.
Hold on 1 second. It's hard for me to say that they should clean house when they missed the playoffs one freaking time.
But you're missing the point.
Well,
Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback of this team. I literally make that point right there. You can see what happens when he goes out. So talentless.
Well, absolutely. You could also argue they've done the worst job of equipping, or I don't know what the great word here is, basically building around one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. They've literally given him nothing.
You're getting to my last point. So their draft and develop, I've sat here and I've thought about their draft and develop strategy that they think is so amazing is so dumb the way they use it. Because if a guy develops into something good, he becomes too much money, and then they let him go thinking that they can grab another guy who's not as consistent, ends up flaking out and isn't good. I mean, Casey Hayward
comes along,
and Micah Hyde are perfect examples. They let Julius Peppers go too early. They let Charles Woodson go too early. It's like they're just doing stupid stuff. I don't get it. It bothers me. Like, I think you could argue keeping Greg Jennings around for another year or two, and James Jones as well. But the wide receivers has always been good because of the quarterbacks. But it's not working. They need to add pieces through free agency and not just through the draft.
James Jones is a great lead into my instant reaction takeaway here, because it's Mother Nature, and he would have fit in well with his half sweatshirt underneath his jersey here.
Yeah.
Because Mother Nature kind of killed this game. What a terrible draw for your championship matchups if you were riding like Case Keenum, Adam Thielen, Jerick McKinnon. And the thing about these players, they weren't either drafted or they were drafted super late. But man, they have just been studs this year. And then you get to a game with terrible field conditions. It's cold. It's just kind of sucky that you can't change your draft strategy. You can't be like, oh, here's the Week 16 matchup. They play in Green Bay. I can't take these players. You can't do that.
Yeah.
But it's just a tough break. There's definitely some people that had a shitty draw there.
I thought McKinnon would have a huge game too.
Yeah, so did I. I almost felt like they kind of relied on Murray just almost as like a clock bleeder.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the Bears and Browns. I've got the Bears winning 20-3. Holy cow! The Bears beat someone by 17 points.
Yeah.
What's your instant reaction here?
My single syllable here is fool's gold.
For the 700th
Every-
time,
What? For the 7th time?
you use fool's goals every week.
Have I used that once?
Oh, at least once a week.
I don't think I've used that one time.
We'll have to look back.
Yeah. Everyone thought this was the week to like pick the Browns against the spread. You picked them.
Yeah, I'm raising both my
everybody
hands.
I saw betting on this game, the bets that I got through, that I saw people betting, like everybody was on the Browns, and I picked the Browns Bears under. I was not going to touch the Browns. Guess what? They're still the fucking Browns. I mean, they're 0 now 16 for a reason. Betting on the Browns is probably the worst idea ever. That's like betting against Alabama and betting against New England. They're going to somehow pull it off. I bet against New England this week, so I made the same mistake.
Yeah.
It's a fool's gold. Like, everybody's like, this is it right here. Look at all these John Fox stats when they're favored. They've lost every game straight up, and they just come out and they do Browns things. It's fucking Deshaun Kaiser can't help but throw interceptions in the red zone.
Guaranteed first overall pick now for the second straight year.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, that's a rough one. My instant reaction here is zero running back strategy, and I want you to pay attention because I think there's a question in here somewhere.
Okay.
So your boy Jordan Howard, you called him. Great call,
Yeah.
by the way. He only had 44 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'll take it.
So he would have obviously been a really high fantasy football pick, despite being on a bad team, despite having a bad quarterback. But looking forward to like fantasy football and just fantasy in general, do you think it's best to? Everyone was super high on that zero running back strategy,
Yeah.
but don't you think it's best to maybe grab at least 2 really good running backs who
Yeah.
seem like they'll get the bulk of the carries and actually wait on the receivers? It kind of seems like there's more obviously there's more receivers in the league. Seems like we talk each week about a different receiver who could actually be considered on waivers. We really hardly ever get to pick a running back off of waivers. So it's almost like, I don't want to call it a zero receiver strategy, but just load up on those running backs. Get a stud like even Jordan Howard. He had no yards, but he was a guy that was going to get carries in this championship game. He gave you 2
Yep.
touchdowns on a crappy team.
Yeah, so I've thought about this already today. That's funny that you're bringing this up. Next year, I already decided if I'm in the top 6 picks, I'm going running back, and then coming back with a receiver in the third round.
Yeah.
So it all depends on where you're picking. After that, I guess you're playing the numbers, who you think's best. So you might actually take a wide receiver a little bit later. You know, you've got, obviously, Antonio Brown could still go in the top 5.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
still a freak of nature, especially in a PPR. He's probably a top 3 pick. But it depends on where you're picking and what type of league you're in. But I'm considering, it was just 2 years ago, that everybody, it was actually 3 years ago when it was a really bad running back season.
You're right.
So everybody was going zero running back strategy, and that fucking shit on everyone. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's done.
it depends, but I like going back to the running back situation depending on where you're picking.
Yeah. So
Early for sure, I would go running back. Like if I'm 1 through 3, there's no doubt in my mind I'm going I've got the second pick next year, and no matter what, I'm taking Le'Veon Bell or Todd Gurley.
Right. Yeah, we're going to talk
Already.
about Gurley a little bit later, so we'll move on to Bengals beating the Lions 26-17. Let me go first here. My instant reaction is 1-800-273-8255. It is a song by Logic, but it's also the suicide prevention hotline. Probably not the best thing to joke about, but you know us, we like to joke. So sorry to anyone I may have offended. I don't mean it that way. But all Lions fans should be put on watch because this team teases you and they let you down at the end of the year more than anyone. They legit had the end of the season just built for them to succeed here. And then you go ahead and lose to the Bengals, I thought they had mailed it in. And then you have Green Bay in Week 17, in a year where they're eliminated, in a year without Rodgers. You couldn't have asked for a better scenario, and they totally blew it.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah, go ahead.
That leaks right into everything. So I'm doing a little music reference here, as in the words of Eminem, same shit, different toilet, for my single syllable. And I'm talking about the same thing. Every year, the Lions start to look confident, think they're going to make the playoffs. These Lions fans think they're going to make the playoffs. Stafford's the real deal. This is the year. And every year, you get to watch them shit right down their leg. And
Yeah.
I think it's magnificent. It's glorious. I'm excited to watch it happen again next year.
Dude, it's almost like clockwork, man.
I love it.
There was a period in time when the Dolphins were actually good, and they would start every year 7-3, 8-4, give you hope, and then they would crap right at the end of the year as it got cold. And the Lions shouldn't be that team. They've been playing in the cold since forever. It's like it shouldn't be that way, but they're just cursed to a whole different level. Sucks.
Yep.
Well, let's talk about one of your adopted NFC teams now that the Packers are out. The
Hells yeah.
Rams. The Rams with a great win over the Titans, 27-23. And based on what I sort of read from your notes, I think you need me to go first.
Yeah, go for it.
So my instant reaction is apology request. And I don't need you to apologize to me, but I need you to apologize to Todd Gurley because you were kind of dogging him earlier in the year. And now he backed up that crazy performance he had last week with 118 yards on the ground, 158 through the air on 10 catches, and 2 touchdowns. Dude, he's going to be, like you talked about a little bit ago, he's going to be in that convo with Le'Veon Bell, David Johnson, Zeke, for that top running back in fantasy. And with how young he is, with how up and coming that offense is, it's going to be hard to, I mean, you're going to have a top pick to get that guy.
Yeah. Number one, I dogged on him literally in week 1. It was actually week 1. I remember it. And then I never said one single word about him the rest of the year. And I actually, complimented him as one of my top running backs in FanDuel and stuff like that.
You did. I just need an apology. Just say, sorry, Todd. Maybe we can move on.
No, I'm not going to say it because I dogged it for 1 week and I backed off of it. Not a big deal. My single syllable is I got golf. I got golf all over your face. Still hear me? I just had something weird happen.
Oh, you're fine. Did you fall off your chair?
No. You suggested to one of our followers not playing golf.
Yeah.
And I yelled at you repeatedly about it. You're telling me he's been playing like crap. He really hasn't been playing like crap. I think he had 1 week. One of those weeks was under 15 points. So, but the rest were 18. And I think the last 3 weeks, there were 2 of them were 18 and 19 points. Yeah. The other one was 14 points. That was 6 points for passing TD. So that's a little inflated. But you should apologize to that guy and golf. I think you should come back and apologize to them for telling him not to play golf, because I hope he did, because I would have definitely suggested golf. They were playing, the Tennessee Titans, right?
Yeah.
One of the worst secondaries in the league. And you know what? They both got off. They both got Goff, Todd Gurley and Goff.
Because
Gurley took his 2 passes to the house, and Goff threw, 3 or 4 touchdown passes?
Yeah, I think it was 4.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll apologize to Goff. Jared, if you're listening, I know you're a fan of the pod. Sorry, I apologize.
Yeah.
But the guy on Twitter, I'm not there yet. Because Nick Foles is playing, I think, as we speak. I'm not seeing it quite yet, but who knows? He could throw for 18 touchdowns. So I'm not going to apologize yet, but tomorrow morning when I wake up, if he doesn't match his output, I will apologize.
Not good so far.
Great. Let's move on to the Chiefs beating the Dolphins 29-13. I'd like to go again because my instant reaction here is apology request.
This is ridiculous.
Once again, not to me. I'd like you to apologize to Alex Smith, saying he needed to be benched to provide a spark because his team is getting hot, and they're getting hot at the right time. They just wrapped up the AFC West, playing a lot better on defense. Kareem Hunt is back. He's been on track the last 3 weeks. I legit think they can hang with anyone if they continue to play the way they've played. They're turning into my AFC sleeper team in the playoffs.
You're such an idiot sometimes. So my one word, since I read your notes beforehand, was hypocrite. You were saying with our boy Mitchell Renz, at Mitchell Renz 365, I believe.
Yeah,
on the podcast a couple weeks before, you both said a couple weeks before me that Mahomes was going to be playing soon, and I argued against it. So the only thing I did was, after seeing him suck for a couple more weeks, is I jumped on that train that you were conducting, and then you flipped it on me. So I don't know how that, I don't get it. But let's add to the fact that the only reason the Chiefs are playing better is because Hunt is the reason. He's playing well, so they're playing better. So you can still argue that Mahomes might give him that extra spark. He might be the better. I don't think Alex Smith is the quarterback next year.
No, I don't think I would say, yeah, absolutely he is. I'm with you on that. And I think I am on record saying that in order for the Chiefs to take the next step, they need a guy like Mahomes. But I don't recall, I'm being honest here, I don't recall him saying that he was going to play this year. So in my defense, if I don't remember it, it didn't happen. So I'm going to go into
context of what you were saying.
I'm going into denial right now. That's what I'm going to do. Let's move on to the Patriots beating the Bills 37-16. What do you got?
Letdown. It felt like the Bills were going to win this game. Like, I was pumped. So I'm like, I'm a Tyrod Taylor fan. I'm cheering for them hard. It was close. And then something happens, and it flips everything. The Pats are cheating with that Benjamin touchdown. There's no way. Number one, Charles Clay doesn't drop those touchdowns ever.
Right.
Don't know how he didn't break that in. They put on some kind of spell on him. Then that Benjamin touchdown, I'm pretty sure his toe was down. And I don't know how you overturn it because it looks like it was. So either way you call the touchdown on the field, you need to keep that the way it was. Like, I was so happy watching this game, and it instantly turned to disappointment in the second half. Like, it felt like that the Bills were going to win, or at least keep it close, that they had a chance to win, and then boom, just in the instant of a Kelvin Benjamin somehow touchdown overturn, it was changed the whole game.
Right, and I'm totally with you. My instant reaction is apology request. No, I'm kidding about that.
Yeah.
It was exactly what you said. It's payroll, because I'd like to know how much the Patriots' payroll goes to the refs in the NFL each week. I like the fact that you accused them of casting a spell on Charles Clay. That is classic. I agree with you, but I mean, we're talking about a Kelvin Benjamin touchdown this week. Last week, we have the Steelers, Jesse James catching a touchdown, extending to the goal line, losing the ball, and that getting taken away. Earlier in the year against the Jets, they had Austin Seferian-Jenkins reaching out, kind of doing that whole fumble thing where the ball goes out of the end zone. More than anything, these rules need to be reviewed and changed, because that Jesse James ball was a catch and a touchdown. Calvin Benjamin's was a touchdown. We don't need to go into it too much farther than that, but it's more of a rules thing. Like, these rules are terrible.
Yeah, they're bad. Your boy J-Train just caught a touchdown from Nick Foles, by the way.
Did he really? That sucks. I'm going against Nick Foles right now, so I need him to tone it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the Saints beating the Falcons 23-13. What do you have?
I said I don't know is my single syllable here. It's like I'm just running out of things to talk about on this. But just in general, this is just a surprisingly disappointing game all around. Looking at the stat line, Drew Brees didn't have a good game. Mark Ingram didn't really have a good game. He had a touchdown, but Alvin Kamara didn't have a good game. Matt Ryan sucked. The best game was probably Julio with like 146 receiving yards, but it was just an overall. I wanted, you expect this game to be a 30-36 game, hopefully. That's what you want to see, and then you see that garbage with not much going on there.
Yeah, I'm with you, because my single syllable here is confusion, because you had Matt Ryan throwing 38 touchdowns last year in an MVP season. The year before last, he had 21 passing touchdowns. This year, he only has 18.
Yeah, he sucks.
Everyone that drafted him kind of thought that, and it felt like a safe fantasy football pick, but he really disappointed this year. So my question for you, looking ahead to fantasy next year, do you consider him a bounce-back candidate, or is he just consistently going to be that 20 to 25 touchdown per year quarterback that you wait and hope you grab him like the 8th or 9th round, because there's nothing special to make him warrant like a high quarterback pick?
I stopped believing in Matt Ryan 3 years ago. That's my answer.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like that 1 year, I don't want to call it a fluke, but the stars aligned. And I'm going to get to a part of that later when we talk about the 49ers. But yeah, I don't think you can feel safe with this guy as your QB1 unless you're waiting till the very end and you're stacking yourself with lots of great running backs and receivers.
Yeah.
It's unreal that his numbers aren't better. I mean, he has Julio Jones, the mix of those two running backs. I just don't know. He's going to be 33 years old next year. Quarterbacks can play until they're a little bit older, but I don't know. It's to the point where youth isn't even on his side. So
I'm just shaking my head.
I'm kind of low on Ryan. That's where I'm
That's all
getting
I can
at
do.
with this. Let's move on to the Chargers beating the Jets 14-7. What do you got?
All right, this one's going to be hard to say, but it's playoffs with little LA in there.
Nice.
I think the two new teams in LA should make the playoffs here. I guess depending on the scenarios that I was just looking at, kind of the standings and where they were at. When I was looking, looks like Tennessee plays Jacksonville this next week, so I think Tennessee should lose that game, and the Chargers have the Raiders, and the Chargers should go ahead and win that game, and I think that would put them in the playoffs, but I might be wrong, so don't take my word on it, but it looked like they were the 7th spot, so one out from the wild card spot, and this feels like Phillip Rivers' big chance to get in the playoffs and make something happen with that 6 seed. this is still a team I would not want to face if I'm other teams in AFC with those D-backs, with that pass rush. If Rivers can, I just want to watch Rivers in the playoffs as well.
So do I.
Kind of cheering for it.
For sure. They would be the team that I would start cheering for in the playoffs.
Not me, but I would be cheering for that. Just them in the playoffs.
I was cheering for you in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Mine is time to decide. And let's hypothetically say the Chargers don't make it. Here's a question for you. Do you think the Chargers should reload and try to make a run again next year? If this option, what do they need to add to get them over this hump? Or do you think that they should invest in an early round quarterback, maybe have him sit behind Rivers for a year or two? That might take away a guy that could actually give them an impact this next year, but help better them for the future. So what do you think? Reload and make a run with Rivers, or play it safe, see if you can do it with Rivers, but maybe add a quarterback to sit behind him and wait?
That's a tough one because I don't think Rivers is going anywhere, and they're not going to not start him if he's still there next year.
Well, I'm saying start him, but draft a quarterback within the first 2 rounds.
I could see them definitely taking a quarterback in the first couple, maybe third round if there's somebody that they sneaky like, and letting them try to develop behind them. You kind of have to right now, I think, with Phillip Rivers. Like you kind of have to grab somebody and put somebody behind him because you're at that point where, this is a business. You don't want to, I know he's been there forever and that's his place, but you want to invest for the future. So you're going to grab somebody and play them behind them and hope that they learn and they have time to learn the offense and develop behind them. I mean, nothing else you can really do. So
yeah,
I don't know. I would do a first-round pick because of how good they're playing, but I would definitely look at a second-round pick because they're pretty solid everywhere else.
That's the thing. I agree with that. I just don't know how a guy with the attitude of Phillip Rivers would take
it's
that.
Like Brett Favre.
I just don't know how he would take that. It would look like too much of a rebuild because a first-round pick, obviously, it's not even a guarantee to start. But we've seen some in the past make a hell of a difference. I mean, look at Zeke Elliott.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a tough call. Let's move on to the Redskins and the Broncos, 27-11. Sort of looks like you want me to go first.
Yeah.
My instant reaction here is I get no respect. And I'm upset because I just watched Come On Man, not the porn, but the show on ESPN.
Nice.
Right before this, and they kind of took this from me. I had this written down yesterday. But there was video of Brock Osweiler going along the sidelines. He was trying to pump up all of his teammates and everything. All of those guys ignored him. They carried on with their conversations. Usually when a quarterback talks, it really garners some sort of attention anyways. But this really shows how little those teammates respect Brock. It shows how much, in off-season mode, that the rest of that team is in. It was just hilarious to see a quarterback that looks like a freaking giraffe just hopping up and down the sideline, looking to get everyone pumped, and everyone else was just out of it.
I don't get Brock's thinking here. He's so naive to think that any of these guys are, number one, going to listen to him. And number two, they're fucking out of the playoffs. None of these games this game doesn't even matter to anybody. What is he? Who gives a shit? Stop.
I know. It was funny. It felt like he finally built up the courage to do it. He's like, all right, guys, let's go. Let's do this. And okay, Brock, it's week 16. You're out. You got this gig because of injuries and terrible performance by other people. You probably won't be here next year. How about you just leave us alone? We're booking our trips to Hawaii right now.
Yeah.
Leave us alone.
Yep.
What do you got for this one? Oh, next, perfect.
Yes.
All right, we've got the Panthers beating the Buccaneers on a last-second Cam Newton touchdown, 22-19. What do you got?
I said momentum for my single syllable here. Bucks played well, I think, here at the last couple of weeks, as I kind of predicted they do. They did lose the last two games, but they were competitive against two playoff teams.
Yeah, moral victories.
Yeah, exactly. And Jameis played a lot better. He was a little bit smarter. I think the goal for this offseason here is they need to stay off Hard Knocks.
Yep.
And they need to avoid hurricanes. Those are the two biggest things, so that they can get a regular bye week and carry this into the next season.
I love it.
No hurricanes, no Hard Knocks. Just stay off the TV.
Two simple things.
Yeah. Whatever. If they make improvements on defense, I think they can actually be the team that we predicted them to be last year. I think it's like this Jaguar situation. We thought, at least I was one of the people who thought they'd be really good last year, and this is the year they're really good. Same thing here for the Buccaneers.
I've never shied away the last 2 years on my love for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they were nothing but disappointing. So I'm with you with everything you said. I'm still a little bit leery. Winston scares me now. I don't know why. I like him. I hate him. It's a real polarizing thing here with
But at
him.
least he showed improvement. Mariota hasn't shown me shit.
Yeah, they're always going to be compared together.
Yeah, they are.
My instant reaction is a wide receiver. First of all, for Carolina, who the hell are these guys? Second, how does your number one receiver go with 3 catches, 11 yards, and no touchdowns against that secondary? Swear to God, if Carolina had a receiver that defenses actually had to respect, I think it would help their running game, and they would be even, I don't know, that balance would be there, and they would actually be a threat because Carolina, I mean, just a couple years away from a Super Bowl appearance. We said how last year was kind of fluky. This year they're back, but it's like they're not totally back. They can't consistently put it together. I think an off-season priority for the Panthers is a wide receiver that can
Sure.
help give them a little bit of balance.
But it was smart of them to get rid of Benjamin, I think.
I totally agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Let's move on to freaking game of the day. 49ers 44, Jaguars 33. Before you do yours, I read that this was a new unique score in the NFL. This score had never happened before,
That's weird. I did not know that.
so that's fun. So why don't you go ahead with your instant reaction?
My single syllable reaction here is the fuck. What the fuck happened here? Like Blake Bortles had a real tough game, but I watched those interceptions. I didn't see them live, but I watched them afterwards. 2 of the 3 weren't on him. One of them was. Not a good sign to have that defense fighting before the playoffs.
Right.
But overall, I think that they will be just fine. They're young. I'm going to chalk this up as an off game for a young team looking forward to the playoffs at this point.
This is sort of the stat line I thought that we'd see out of Blake Bortles because I thought they'd be playing from behind. He threw the ball 50 times. He had those 3 interceptions. I'm just surprised that the Jaguars gave up 44 points. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
pretty
it
wa-
was, yeah, I mean, 3 interceptions.
Yeah, when you have turnovers, I mean, you're guaranteed to, not guaranteed, but it's more likely, obviously, for the other team to score more. So, yeah, I'm with you. I don't want to write off the Jags yet, but I said last week, there's something about them. I can't get behind that right now. My instant reaction here is Shanahan has his man. And you know where the Falcons offense went? It went with Shanahan to San Francisco. That's where
Yeah.
it went. And now that Jimmy Garoppolo is playing, he's had a couple of games to get used to his teammates, to get back into the system. Throws for 240 some yards, 2 touchdowns to absolutely no one. Look at the box score. Look who he's playing with. There's nobody there against the NFL's best pass defense. Future is bright in San Francisco. It's weird to say that, but it seems like Shanahan's the man for the job. Jimmy G's the man for the job. Go draft yourself a wide receiver and start competing with the Rams.
Buckets.
Buckets. All right, let's talk about the Seahawks. 21 and Cowboys 12. What do you got?
Whiff. I gave you guys this pick, real confident here, ATS. I totally missed this
Hey, this
game.
is the one I got right.
I was 100% sure the Cowboys would run away with this game with the return of Zeke. But you know what? Dramatic for the people who like the drama here with the Cowboys, which I think everybody enjoys it. Should be a fun off season with Dak and Dez. After that little comment Dak threw out there, little jab towards Dez. I don't know if you heard that, Ben, but I'm sure you did. And then Jones and the Garrett drama, and everybody expecting that. You never know what's going to happen. Drew Jones tried to play it off, but you know that'll change in like the flip of a switch real quick. But I do want to say the Seahawks are still really bad. Russell Wilson had 93 yards passing today.
Oh, that's crazy.
And I think that pick six, interception, was it a pick six? I believe it was. It was obviously the game changer in that game. The one that goes right through Dez' hands on there. But I still don't think the Seahawks make the playoffs. I still think it's going to be Atlanta and Carolina.
It's really weird. I agree with that. It's really weird. Like, these teams sort of remind me of each other in regards to just performance, not specifically how they're built, but just the fact that like they can run hot and they can run so cold. And when there's drama, the drama is escalated to a different level than a lot of teams' drama gets. So with you on that one, my instant reaction is Salvation Army. Justin Coleman gets an interception, returns it to the house, jumps into the Salvation Army bucket, gets a flag. Zeke Elliott didn't get a flag last year. And I thought celebrations were okay now. So a little confused by how all that went down. So real quick, I'm thinking next year, I want the bucket to return. I need someone to celebrate in that again. But next year, I want them to treat the bucket as a dunk tank. I want the guy to sit on the edge of it, and I want someone to throw the football at the tank and have the guy drop into it. I think that would be the celebration of the year.
Yeah, I actually like that idea. Actually, that's a pretty good one. You took time to think about that, huh?
Yeah, a couple minutes.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, let's move on to the final game. We've got the Cardinals shutting out the Giants 23-0. Thank you to the Arizona Cardinals in my fantasy football matchup for all the fantasy points you gave me. What do you have as an instant reaction?
The same kind of thing I said about the Packers here. New regime is my single syllable reaction. Giants just need to tear down everything. New quarterback, new coach, new GM. Obviously, they fired their coach and GM. New offense, new defense. Keep Evan Ingram. That's about it.
Oh, I like it. I like the keeping Ingram. Yes, keep last year's draft stud. I like that. Are you ready for my instant reaction here?
Yeah, I never saw this.
Drum roll, please.
Here we go.
I've got nothing, so it's time for everyone's favorite random trivia.
Yes, I didn't get to see this one ahead of time. I'm so glad.
All right, here we go. On the classic TV show Saved by the Bell, what was A.C. Slater's real name? And no, I'm not asking for Mario Lopez. I'm asking what the AC stands for.
That's a good one.
Ooh, he's gonna take a drink of his beer and see if he can relive those childhood memories.
Oh my God, I don't think I have any idea actually.
5, 4.
I don't know,
3,
man. Adrian
2,
Christian.
1. Alfred Clifford.
Oh, I had no idea.
I believe there was an episode, and I think someone was trying to give him trash, but AC was already on steroids back then, so he wasn't taking anyone's shit about making fun of his name.
Yeah, I don't remember.
You finally got one wrong, though. How's it feel
I
to
did.
have your streak break?
That was a good question.
I don't remember why I thought about that, but I wrote it into into my notes
I like
section
it.
for a rainy day when there was a game I didn't want to talk about. So,
Yep.
you want to give your thoughts on Monday night game? We got to wrap this puppy up.
Yep, they're up 7-0 right now, so I think even with Big Dick Nick, the Eagles should win this game easy.
Yep, I'm with you on the Eagles. Just give me some fantasy points out of Crabtree. Do you have anything else you'd like to add tonight?
No, let's finish her up.
All right. Thank you once again for listening to the podcast. Tweet any questions you'd like answered on Twitter at LoadedBox. Our next episode will be coming later this week. We'll preview Week 17. We're available on iTunes. Search your iTunes for Loaded Box. Subscribe, rate, and review. I think that's all I have. Merry Christmas.
Bye.